I think we've figured this out. Music's still going on my phone over there. We had stuff happen. I don't want to get into it right now. I'm just not going to get into it right now. Computers suck, and I don't know why that isn't queuing. Oh, because we haven't done that part. Got it. That goes there, and now people get a logo. Aha! We have some new hardware action going on. Not hardware. I mean, we got a new configuration, so we're doing this. And then apparently putting the wrong SD card in the soundboard makes the soundboard not work. So we're learning things. Will we ever guess on with us? Make sure nothing else needs muted right now. As everybody's making fart sounds. What is this show without some technical issues every so often? We had such a good run. Starting relatively on time. Okay, you guys ready?
Sure.
Everybody's just waiting around me. I know.
I did not get a doc though, just so you know.
Yeah, did you get in Slack?
Oh, I didn't check that. That was one place I didn't check.
Oh.
It's a scavenger hunt.
There we go.
The best part was I went into Google Drive, and Google Drive essentially popped that one up first and says, you usually access this time of day.
Yeah.
Smart Google.
That seems right. Oh.
Smart Google.
Oh no, now your video isn't working. That's the sound of things hopefully starting to work. We'll find out in a second. Nope. All right. Hey, there we go. There we go. Now you can see them. Oh. Some bandwidth issues, apparently. All right. Now we can show. And we're going to record. Yes, I want to record. And everything is going to be just fine. Backup recording going. Audio recording going. Everything's going to be just fine. What's up, Drake? What's up, Steve? What's up, Spencer? What's up, Podner? Hanging out here. Hey, the show's finally starting at 1/4 after. We're pretty sure we fixed everything. We'll find out, won't we? All right. Get ready to geek. All right, let's roll that back. Fuck.
Balls.
Piss.
Booger.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
But.
Damn it. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast episode 492, emanating at least technically live from Sorgatron Media Studios here in Pittsburgh, PA. Myself, producer Misty, here in our imposed studio quarantine as usual. And we're doing some, if you guys are on video, we kind of have a new configuration, a new workflow. So we're going to see how that goes. So if you, I will probably swear tonight as I'm kind of sorting a new workflow for the studio. This is the maiden voyage, moving from, if those want to geek out enough about me, we'll do an extra video later from Wirecast to Vimeo. So let me know how things look, how things sound, if there's any issues, if you're there live in the chat room. But in the meantime, let's get into, we have with us on the line, Chilla is again on assignment with Big Bank International. He's got a lot going on. But we do have a Dudders with us today. Back
Hi.
Again. Dudders, how are you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good. So what do we got in the background there today? I know we'll do a, wait, is that the wrestling ring?
Yep, I've got new fancy wrestling wallpaper, and it's interactive with an item in the room, which I had no idea until I played around yesterday. So that'll be fun.
Nice, nice. So I love, and I've seen that, a lot, as you know, we know, a lot of wrestlers seem to be getting into Animal Crossing, and they're like, what should I do? And I'm like, I hear there's a ring, and you should probably get one. So, but also with us, with Bold Pittsburgh, she's usually correcting us on our Apple knowledge in the chat room. Amanda Narcisi is with us today. How are you doing, Amanda?
Good. How is everyone?
Excellent, excellent. How are you holding up? I know you've been work from home for a while.
Um, yeah, I'm holding up. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what hour it is. I pretty much so am either in my office or on the couch. So that's it about it. I got to go out a little bit today, so that was nice.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get into everything with you here in a moment. But of course, please check out everything at awesomecast.com. Please follow us, AwesomeCast, on the Twitter, on the Facebook page, and the Facebook group is where we talk about a lot of the stories throughout the week. So please join us over there. And that's also, if you join us on Facebook, you can join us here 7 p.m. More or less, if everything's working out, more or less, Facebook Live every Tuesday, so you at least know what day it is once a week. That's the service that we provide to you. So if there's a schedule, it helps you. I know Monday is wrestling with Raw, Tuesday is podcast night, and then we get fuzzy after that. So hopefully we can help you start that week and get you on that mindset. Also, please subscribe to the show on what your favorite podcaster. Please, you can watch the videos on YouTube and Facebook if there's something we're referencing that you really want to see. Also, Instagram. We have an Instagram, and some of our clips are going out on there as well. So please follow that too. And please, if you're joining us live right now, please share, like, heart, whatever the case may be. Or if you're catching us later on the podcast, we also appreciate if you rate, review, share the show as well. So thank you everybody that does support the show there. Thank you to our audio partners, the 405media.com, that's been replaying the show daily at noon Eastern time, and our friends at Post Industrial Audio, postindustrial.com, doing some great coverage of the Rust Belt and what's going on, especially with the coronavirus. I think they just met their Kickstarter goal recently to continue that coronavirus coverage. So go check them out. My mom is in the chat room, just as an update. She's let everybody know she's here.
Mom!
So good to know. Thank you to our Patreon supporters supporting the show over at patreon.com/awesomecast. I was actually just looking into it, and some of you guys have been on here for a while, and it's because we can see how long and how much you've kind of contributed to the show, and it's really astonishing to see how long you guys have been listening and contributing to the show, or forgot that you signed up for us 2 years ago. Whatever the case, thank you very much to our friends over at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, and our friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor and pghmuseums.org. Thank you so much. You guys can support the show too at patreon.com/awesomecast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Who wrote in abandoned us for Big Bank International on Chilla's awesome thing of the week? Who did that? Who did that? Come on. Be nice to Chilla.
Okay.
Chilla has a kid in a home job he has to deal with. He's got the double whammy.
He has children.
He has children, damn it. While we're all sitting at home playing Animal Crossing. What's that? He has one? That's enough. That's probably enough. Let's be honest about that. But anyways, so let's get into our awesome things of the week. Amanda, Amanda, you looks like you're taking things old school.
Oh yeah, I looked today. I was like in Apple News. I'm like, come on, there gotta be some tech news, like something that caught my eye. And literally, I have spent this entire time reading books.
What?
Like old school. Like I ordered books from like Target. I had them shipped to my house. I bought one on whiskey that was actually written by a local gentleman. He lived in Pittsburgh, but now lives closer to Philadelphia. But and then I'm reading the most fascinating book about the fashion designer Betsy Johnson, who and she's awesome. She's the one that always cartwheels down the catwalk whenever her fashion shows are done.
Oh, really?
And it turns out, yeah, and she's and it turns out she was like a cheerleader in college, and she went to Syracuse University in the 60s. Like, it's her memoir, and it's really, really fascinating. So I've been reading books. I also started taking classes. So I have one that is Actually, yeah. I took a class called Bar Smarts. So it's actually free until the end of this month. And this is actually really cool. So it's 9 hours long and it teaches you all the aspects of bartending.
Hmm.
It'll teach you like where whiskey comes from, how to distill, where wine comes from, how to make wine, and how to make classic cocktails. And it's about 9 hours long. It's called Bar Smarts.
And this
It's
is at barsmarts.com.
yes. Yeah, and it's really, really, really neat. I'm up to winemaking, so I've
Mm-hmm.
learned how to distill whiskey, which of course has become comedic because they're like, if you see me arrested in Mount Lebanon anytime soon, that would be why, because I started like distilling in Mount Lebanon. um, um, and then I also started to do so Swift, which we know is from Apple,
Mm-hmm.
which was always free as coding software, has moved to the Mac, and that was a couple months ago. You can download it from the App Store. Well, I like it so much better on the Mac because you can actually type out like the coding and you don't, and it gives it a little bit smoother of a workflow than it does on the iPad. So I've actually been doing Swift on the Mac. So I've been learning coding during this time too, which is something completely off the wall for me.
So all this in the in the my Apple project after this.
I would like to start building apps. That I think is the main goal after this. I'm going to build an app.
I'm going to have questions for you because I got an API just waiting for somebody to play with. So that sounds like a really weird pickup line, to be honest. That I think about it, but
yeah, the Swift is cool. I mean, it's the fact that it's free, and like I said, it starts out really simple, and then I'm up to like algorithms, if this then that, and it teaches it in a very childish way almost with the game and everything. But it's pretty neato.
yeah, and yeah, it's a nice accessible one for people with iPads. So and this has been have they been iPad only for a while, or you just came around to the Mac recently for it?
I think it came around to the Mac in January or February. So it's been iPad only up until then. I think 9 to 5 broke the news, and then Apple that it was about like January, yeah, when they came to the Mac. So, and it's got a nicer workflow. I just think like the sidebar and the typing and the way it looks on the Mac is a lot cleaner than the iPad.
So I wonder. So what size iPad are you using for it? Are you using like a 10-inch or one of the Pro sizes? Do you think
I'm
that
using
makes
a
a
mini.
difference? What's that?
A mini.
Oh, a mini. That may
Absolutely
be part of it. Because I wonder with that, with our new kind of integrations, does that look like like on a 12-inch Pro? Is it just going to look like the Mac version, right?
Yeah, I try to stick to my mini only because I can type really quickly on it with like my thumbs, like I do a phone. But it's still to type out long compilations. I found myself putting it on my keyboard for the mini to type out any type of lengthy coding. So on the Mac, it's a lot nicer that I can just sit there and type out everything. I can copy and paste it if I need to. I can do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Katie, what is your awesome thing or things of the week?
Things. I've got two, but they're pretty much the same thing. If you're not familiar, there's a brand of knit hats. It's called Love Your Melon. And their mission is you buy a hat, they gave a hat to a child going through pediatric cancer.
Okay.
And now they've kind of switched a little bit that they're still providing hats to kids with childhood cancers, but their half of their profits go towards research for these childhood cancers. So it's a great foundation, and it was started by a couple of college students. And it's grown pretty large. They are working with Star Wars now, which is super exciting. They'll do every so often they'll do collabs. Like they did a Star Wars one, and then they did a Marvel one, which they sold out of a ton of them because like when they go on sale, you have to order them in the beginning or you'll be waiting for a while. Even if you order them in the beginning, I ordered these in January for pre-sale, and I just got them today. So I do have some new winter hats. They're super cute. I don't know if you can see, but that's a baby Yoda.
Oh.
And it's a really nice mint green color. And there's also a Mando. Ta-da. So I bought both of these hats because, well, they were obviously super cute, and they're really nicely made. They're not super heavy, but they also make masks now. So if you're looking for, something, a specific mask that you like, or a color, or if you're like, I'm not great at sewing my own masks, they're selling masks on there too. And again, half the proceeds go to battling pediatric cancers.
Nice.
So I'm very happy with my purchases. So very excited. I know it'll probably be 10 degrees next week because our weather is downright ridiculous.
Yeah, especially the way things are going, right? So
it's 90. Tomorrow's 5. Thanks.
So I mean, so for me, my awesome thing is I love the inventiveness as we're all kind of adjusting to everything. And Twit is one of the podcasts I listen to, and usually I listen to an audio version of it. And I threw this in there. I don't know if you guys saw it in the group, but apparently they had an evening dress edition of the show, where and it was one of them has grown a mustache over the last several months, I guess. And they're wearing, one has an evening gown. Amy Webb, who was actually a futurist that had some really good conversations. Leo is wearing a tux during this. So it's like a fully fancy. It's just a tech news show. It's just a podcast. There's nothing special. They had their anniversary last week. It has nothing to do with that. They're just like, we're gonna dress up tonight. So I don't know if it's like it was like this is how we're celebrating prom kind of thing, maybe, but it was kind of a fun throw for. It's rare that I'm listening to an audio podcast and have to go seek out the video version of it, because I am like, I gotta see this, this atmosphere that they have going on there. So that was kind of my thing. Have you guys seen any odd, like, well, obviously the prom things have been happening over the last week or so, right?
Yes, the Some Great News prom was kind of fun.
I haven't watched that one. The office guy.
Yeah.
I could never pronounce his name.
Those were kind of fun.
Krasinski.
Yeah. We did a Star Wars trivia last night, and everybody made their backgrounds a different scene from Star Wars, and that was kind of different.
Nice.
I've been in them more than I've been like watching them.
Awesome. Well, we'll see what else comes out there. But hey, want to give a shout out to our friends that have been a good partner on the show, and of course we've been have been supporting us for a good long time. Our good friends at Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza for a good long time here. Thank you so much, guys. 4 locations here in the Pittsburgh area, still taking orders. Like we talk, even Crappy's getting it all the way out in Bellevue area that he's at. It's everywhere. And thank you for supporting it. Support local, support these guys, so everybody can weather the storm. And when we get back to everything gets back to normal, they'll still be there. Because I mean, we're already seeing the original hot dog shop didn't make it, and over in Oakland, the O. And that's unfortunate. So please support your favorite businesses, and especially in this time, not just your favorite podcasts. So thank you so much, everybody that is supporting those guys, and thank you to Slice on Broadway for supporting the show for so very long. Okay, so let's get into Dave Ponder had some stuff. Well, first of all, let's give a shout out. Chachi is continuing his game journey. He's continuing his video game journey, and let's see what he's up to this week. As the site is not loading, he's up to of course doing the Nintendo DS games, and the site is not loading. So just go check in with that, thegamejourney.com. And also, he's got Facebook and Twitter set up too, so go check those out too. Podner had a couple of stories. Here's one. Speaking of kids, Frogpants Studios, who I know is like more of a I guess he does animation and everything too, or comics and stuff. But they were doing a kids drawing class over there that you can be a part of online. So that's a pretty cool thing. A nice little, and again, I just know these guys for their podcasts, but they do a lot of gaming, comic books and things like that. They're kind of joined with like a lot of that Daily Tech News Show kind of thing. So it might be something worth checking out there. So thank you to Dave Podner for sharing that along with us. And also, Podner also shared with us a story about the about the iPhone SE. Amanda, you probably haven't had you're probably at least reading up on it, right? I know you haven't been able to probably get hands on with something like that.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get hands on. Typically, we're able to at this point, but I've been reading up on it, and of course, I'm answering phones now for the companies, so I've been able to talk about it a little bit more to the customers. But it's kind of an interesting model. I mean, it's like a zooped up 8 with, you know, the power of an 11, which it's great for people who just can't afford the 11.
Mm-hmm.
They like the size, they like the home button. I wish they would have kept the size of the SE, the original SE, because I still feel like that was what everybody's major talking point was.
That you mean one of these guys here
yes.
that we're using here in the studio for some chat monitoring. Yeah, no, it's well, again, I have a Plus, so it's a little more of a jolt to pick one of these up than my iPhone Plus 8 Plus. That's like twice the phone.
Right. Right.
But no, I know somebody, you know, there's definitely people that probably like this size a lot better, you know, hand size and things like that, right? But
it's been more the conversation of the price of it than anything.
Mm-hmm. So over on Halide, HALIDE is the website. This is what Podner shared with us here. So this kind of does a breakdown. Like, this is, you mentioned the iPhone 8 parts. Apparently the camera is pretty interchangeable with it, but also, like, yeah, that's 3 phones ago, but still an amazing camera. You know, it's still a really good camera. And they have a pretty good breakdown, and they say some of the parts, including that, are absolutely interchangeable with an iPhone 8. Like, it's kind of just a repurposed iPhone 8 into the SE format and being a little cheaper. Did this replace the 8, I wonder?
They took the 8s out of the store. They're not in refurbished, and they're not in
really.
clearance,
So
they're not even on the site.
Basically, this is the 8 with a little bit more horsepower under the hood.
I can't tell you what will happen when the stores reopen, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm sure there'll be inventory in some of the stores of the 8 that they'll have to adjust to, but I don't know. You know, like, yeah, as far as the online stores considered, they took it down.
Mm-hmm.
They took them down.
That's amazing. And it's, you know, again, with that, it's got the one camera, and it looks like, from what it's saying, that the machine learning on the phone is actually kind of making up for the one lens for a lot of things. And this article that Podner shares is kind of sharing a lot of that, a lot of those breakdowns as well. He says, so the big deep dive, and that's their app, Halide. They have their own app with iPhone SE, and they're kind of comparing what their phone is doing with that hardware and software combination to the normal one. And Podner also reminds me that Scott of Frogpants Studios was an illustrator before podcasting. So it's cool to see that kind of reach out going on there too. Also, Podner was all over sharing stuff this week in the group. There are 1 million podcasts. I'm surprised we didn't get to this point. Is that active podcasts? Because, I mean, if you count people that have started, like, put one show out, I guess that could be a thing, right? It's the worst time to get your head above the water and get noticed right now, probably, if you're starting a podcast.
I wonder if that's the ones that are, like, registered in the major accounts, because there's still podcasts that, like, go through SoundHound or go through independent sites. I wonder if that's just through, like, Spotify and iTunes.
Well, it's Apple that put it out, so it's registered with Apple. 1 million podcasts, and also remember, if you are dormant for too long, I believe they delist you, don't they? Like, so it's not taking up a registry space or something like that. No, I haven't been delisted, but then, like, if your hosting goes away, like if you stop paying for your hosting on Podbean or something, right, it's going to delist it. So
Right.
it has to be active at this point. There has to be some kind of limitation to that, and I'm not seeing the that in the metric data here. But yeah, it's got to be an active kind of number. But even that's pretty astonishing right now. So, but that's an article over by Mashable that breaks that down. That's also in our Facebook group as well. I just realized I don't know where the timer is on this new software to see how long we've been going with this. What's that? Okay, 7:39. I have to like redo. Wait, where is the number? Now I'm getting lost over here, guys. So anyways, we will let me give a shout out here. Of course, we got a lot of stuff going on, working with a lot of clients over at Sidekick Media Services, our in-house over here in Sorgatron Media, doing a lot of streaming, helping out our friends at Jagoff with a lot of projects and everything. So please go check out everything at Sidekick Media Services, superhero in your sidekick to your superhero project, actually, and helping out with live streaming. Do a lot of work with our wrestling events, church services, teleconferencing, and helping out with a lot of that. Please go check out more. If you need some help, go hit us up, sidekickmediaservices.com. So, all right, Dudders, what is the Animal Crossing update?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to flip it in reverse. Well, actually, here,
Okay.
I'll just do this.
Okay,
Let's see
we're
if I
on the
can flip
move. We're on the move in the
We're on the move. We're on
in
the
the
move. I'm
living
sorry.
room.
This is all new to me too. Let's see if I flip camera.
Mhm.
Look at this. We're learning. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, there we the other way. There we go.
We can switch cameras. And so what's happening in my room right now is that sorry, there you go. If you can see, there's wrestling wallpaper
Jeez.
on my wall.
What?
You see all like the different lighting? So
Yeah.
this is the wrestling wallpaper. I'm working on building the ring. I need the blue corner. I have the red corner and the neutral corners, but I'm waiting on the blue corners. And I was gifted this wallpaper, and I have a bell in there. And I realized that if I ring the bell, if I walk over, ring the bell, friend. Sorry, I'm at a weird angle doing this with one hand. I am not prepared at all. This is look at this.
That's
We're
okay.
great with
That's the theme for tonight.
Oh, we're just a mess. Why are you not using your hand? Hold on, let me change my view. And burp, view, go, do. Oh my gosh, I'm really bad at this game with one hand. There we go. Let's do that. And me doing things and stuff and things. So if I ring the bell, the crowd cheers and the lights flash.
That's awesome.
After that
so
dramatic
cool.
build up, yeah.
So the wallpaper themselves are, for those on audio, it's a crowd couple frame animation, a guardrail, and lights at the top of it. That's fantastic. Thank you,
So when you
Animal
ring the
Crossing.
bell- Oh, I know. I had no idea. I just was ringing the bell because it was fun for me and I was amused by it.
Yeah.
And then the crowd cheers and the lights flash and it's cool. And this one dude over here reminds me of AJ Styles.
It does look like it.
Yeah, I got little AJ Styles in the crowd there. But yeah, so I thought that was super cool. I hadn't seen anything about the wallpapers interacting with objects yet.
Mhm,
So it was a kind of a pleasant surprise. And yeah, it's a really cool thing. I like it.
Wow.
You just sit there and ring the bell all night. Literally, I just keep ringing the bell.
So is there kind of a function? Can you kind of do like a sort of mock wrestling match when this happens? Like, can you?
Well, the problem is that the ring, you really can't do much with it besides like roll on it like a bed.
Okay.
Good, my friend. She won't even. Nope, I can rotate it. There we go. But she like rolls on it. There we go.
Okay. Oh, so you can't even. So wait. So
It's
we
kind of
can
like,
we can get
you
two
can't-
people into it and they can just like roll around together.
yep, pretty much. You can roll around on the bed. The bobbles will bobble though. The bobbleheads will bobble if you bobble them. Walk over, bobble the heads. Da-da-da.
Bobble, 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 bobble.
Sorry,
Wow.
wrestler heads to bobble and bells to ring. Welcome to my house.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what's cool.
Some good wrestling and Animal Crossing. So this has been your week long project.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was well. Once I got the wallpaper, I needed to buy the ring back because I had actually sold it earlier because I'm like, this is kind of dumb. I can't really do anything with it. I think that's one of my issues with Animal. Well, it's not an issue. I shouldn't complain because there's a lot of fun stuff, but a lot of the stuff you get is not interactive as you think it should be. Like you feel like it's functional. It's not as functional as you think it should be.
Mhm.
and I wish there was a little bit more functionality to things. And like things that you think you could play like a board game. So you would think there'd be a little bit more functionality with friends. It's literally just like a game piece that rolls. But you're like, ah, come on. That's cute, but I want to play.
Awesome. So go visit the island. This is on the island, right? Can people visit
Yes.
your
I'm Dudders from the island of Dudders.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you can just ask me for my friend code. We'll be friends.
So keeping on the gaming side, I found this story today flipping through. This is again another Mashable one, and somebody turned a real Glock handgun into a clone of a Duck Hunt zapper. It's painted.
That's dangerous.
It's got the gray and orange. And I think it's still. Did they? It's still a full functioning weapon apparently. In my mind, I was like, oh yeah, maybe they swapped up all the parts and it's a light gun. No, it's just a gun that looks like a zapper. So kids don't. Yeah, I hope you don't have kids at home with this. It would look good in a case though, in like a gun case or something, right? So kind of complete your collection of and wouldn't that be a fun way to hide your weapon in case of home invasion, right? And we're like, somebody broke in, I'm in my game room, don't worry, I'm covered. So but
what are you gonna do with that? Blind me?
Boy, are they gonna be surprised, right? When you pull that out and it actually does something. So there's that. Amanda, I know you got the doc late and it's been a little rough, but any stories sticking out there you want to talk about?
No, I literally have not been doing too much.
Well, there's the pantsless reporter. Did you see that video?
Oh my god, that was hilarious today, and apparently it's Christopher Reeve's son.
What?
Superman.
What?
Yeah, so he is a reporter now for CNN.
Okay.
And he went remote in his house, and he didn't put pants on. But he set up the camera at an angle that literally, like, right underneath the little
you
banner
can see
thingy.
it right there.
It was like his shirt and his pants, but the news story was that this is Christopher Reeve's son. Like,
Okay.
Superman's son. That was the funny, and he like made a joke about it, and he's like, I finally arrived, but he was on like Good Morning America like that.
Yeah. So did he just like not? Was he completely doing it on purpose?
That was a good story.
Well, he said he had shorts underneath, but I don't think he realized that it looks like a great angle, and he just like, oh shoot, dude, too far.
Yeah. Like you didn't check the edge of your, like he's on whatever. And a lot of these, I think they're using like cameras with viewfinders and stuff, and maybe the viewfinder is not terribly big on a phone, and he's not seeing that little edge, I guess. So yeah, because even in this picture that I'm looking at here, like it's kind of it's just in that area under your title bar, under your lower third. And they're talking about pharmacies of the future using drones to deliver prescriptions to patients, which I think is a real story, which is actually a story for this show, because apparently CVS and Walgreens are going to be delivering their prescriptions to, and this is a retirement community in Florida that has like 130,000 patients, I was hearing. So it's a fixed place that they can, that is a private area, and they're going to deliver the patients with drones. So, and probably a similar area to when we've heard about the retirement communities that have the driverless cars that are shuttling all the people that live there around. So
I did read another article today about the Alphabet stock in Q1 being 7% higher amid the ads not being there anymore.
And we're talking about Google Alphabet.
Like Google Alphabet, yeah.
Like
their Q1 earnings are up 7%.
Wait, is it just use of things like Google Meet maybe, or?
Possibly. They reported $41.16 billion in revenue in this quarter. Like, that's craziness.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're seeing that too. Netflix was reporting to be up currently, and how they're like going to lose nothing for releases for 2020 because everything's in the can basically, since they put everything out. Right? It's not like Flash, Arrowverse stuff on CW are having trouble getting their finales won't come out on time. Like they're just their last episode or two, because they're in production as the season's going. Whereas Netflix is like, it's in the can, put it out. So we'll see what happens as things go. But I mean, it's we're only a month and a half into weirdness right now, So I've noticed ads coming back on my podcast. Have you guys noticed that? Like I had one of my podcasts had like no ads for the last 2 weeks, and then they had 2 ads at the beginning of it. And it's one of those where it's definitely an inserted situation. And I was like, oh, cool. They're getting advertising. That's good for them. And then I'm like, wait, isn't our ad? This didn't happen before. So is everybody catching up now, maybe, or the people that need it are kind of jumping into it? But that's just anecdotally, that's something I found today. Otherwise, other than that, like everything just seems like everybody's getting the coronavirus ads out in the meantime. But anyways, so another fun use of scary robot dogs and iPads, Amanda.
I love that segue. Scary robot dogs and iPads.
Yes, keeping it Apple and a little bit of Black Mirror, because there's nothing more Black Mirror than this image. Boston Dynamics robot dog is helping COVID-19 patients. So the idea is, this is one of the, I think I was reading this earlier. I believe it's a tented triage unit, and they will send the robot dog. This is the robot dog that we've seen in all the videos from Boston Dynamics doing like opening doors and stuff in recent years. They attached an iPad to the top of it, and they go in and they interview the patient, and it just trots itself on in. I think it holds the door for people too, actually, because that is a function of it. They only have that one creepy picture, don't they? There you go. That's a good use of that. Of course, this is just one in use in Boston, kind of trying this out. They are working on attempting to work on finding out ways that they can use just the robots to do things like take temperature and other metering things that they would need to do for, to really keep a doctor from interacting with a patient, if that's risky, with this situation. So, creepier, or listen, you're sick. You're sick. You maybe you got the thing everybody's worried about, and you're sitting there. Then in trots, do they warn you about the dog? First of all, do they warn you that a dog is coming?
I would worry about the hallucinations. You already have a temperature of like 103, like at least. Wouldn't you start to hallucinate at some point? Because there are like hallucinations you get with certain amounts of fever, and like I'd be worried I was like hallucinating and be like, "Excuse me, nurse, there's a robot dog in my room." Like,
Katie, you're going through some procedures right now. If just you showed up at one of them, and this is what greeted you.
Nothing would surprise me at this point, I think.
It's just like, oh, that too, huh?
This is a thing now. Got it.
All right. Now what we need to do, because I'm reminding it in your background, we need a robot at. Yes. That we can, with an iPad attached to it, and then that would just be perfect, right?
Oh, that'd be amazing. I would go all the time.
Yeah.
I would not be so whiny on chemo day if I got to see a robotic AT-AT every week.
I got to go visit the AT-AT. Yeah, but I'm visiting the AT-AT. That's what I do. It's kind of like when I remember being younger, going to the pediatrician, and they had the cool wire toy thing where you could put the beads on and stuff. It was just like, oh, it's the time of year where I go play with the bead game and look at the fish. Yeah,
it was worth it.
Yeah,
it's like cost benefit analysis. You're like,
yeah, that's right. We were doing that. Still doing the cost benefit when we were 7. Like beads. I might get it. They do that thing where they stick the tongue depressor in my throat, and it was really nasty. But the bead game's there.
And the lollipop.
The lollipop.
The lollipop. My dentist had the stickers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the toothbrush with the bubblegum toothpaste. There you go.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Did anybody ever actually use bubblegum toothpaste? I don't think I've ever actually
It was
used it.
horrible.
Oof.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's not supposed to taste like this. Because medicine tasted like bubblegum. That was the big thing for our age, was everything, all the medicine they changed to taste like bubblegum. So we'd take it when we were kids. And then you're like, here's the bubblegum toothpaste on top of it. You're like, no, it's medicine.
Or you get the medicine that tastes like grape, and you're like, this is what grape tastes like? This is a lie. Yeah. Oh boy. I remember getting a crest coloring book when I was visiting the dental school for my procedures when I was younger. That's a big thing in my head right now for some reason. Or thrown back. Anyways, what time is it? How long have we been recording? What's going on? A robot dog's running this show now. What's happening right now?
It's fine.
Oh
It's
no!
fine.
Oh no! We're doing fine. Hey, you know what? It's doing better. Like our Monday night show has been less about wrestling and more than just us talking about Legos and whatever at this point.
Well, here you got to think of it this way: we're dealing with an unprecedented situation, so we're discussing the things that make us happy, and these happy memories make us feel better.
Yay!
You know? It's like, hey, that's how we're handling stuff. We're talking about stuff that makes us happy, whether tech wise or not bubblegum toothpaste.
Another creepy thing. What if you're hitting up your grocery store and somebody is wearing a face hugger mask? This is old. I know this has been some people probably already seen this on social media because it's actually from earlier in the month. This is from the Nerdist had this listed. If my page loads up here, a fan apparently created an aliens-inspired face hugger mask for your kind of COVID protection needs. Here's a few images of it here, with full tail attachment as well. So, and there's what it looks like if you're with us on video when you have it on face.
I want a Bane mask.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
So I want to go to the grocery store and as a Bane mask.
Katie, I think I shared with you, a friend, that it was a private post, so I couldn't really share it otherwise. But they were like, oh, we need masks to go, right? And thankfully not the one driving. She was just wearing a regular mask so she could see. But the other two were wearing Darth Maul and Darth Vader masks. So
Wow.
I was like, does this count? Yeah. At least people are, I mean, that's when, and I was kind of waiting for this to be okay, everybody has to wear masks. Now what are the creatives going to do about this, right? Like I imagine the masks aren't going away for a while. And I imagine at a certain point I was like, all right, how am I going to up my mask game? Right?
I'm thankful for so many years being in art school that I have so many bandanas. Like,
there you
really,
go.
That's the truth. I literally just went and got all my bandanas and hung them by the front door, and I just grab a bandana every time we leave now.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing, and I've well, you've seen I've been wearing my Baja bandanas because I'm like, normally I have all these collected up for this time of year because I'm going to be somewhere trying not to breathe dust. In the desert or something, right? And now I'm just like, well, at least I can keep the spirit alive and use these right now. So it's been kind of nice and quasi-therapeutic a little bit too. Let's see. I know I got at least one more to hit up here, but because I need to look into that one story a little bit. I saw this. I didn't read this. I just saw the headline and shared it in, and it didn't go deep into this. But the Library of Congress app that makes hip hop with century-old samples. I need to play with that. Just putting that out there. It's on the group. Don't even put it in the notes. But it's that seemed like a fun time waster for later. Remember when was it Marshmallow? Was that the guy's name that was in Fortnite?
Yes, I think so.
It's just I feel like Marshmallow is too. It was with no W, wasn't it? Well. His concert, is he? I don't know. He's in a mask. Do we really know? I'm not sure, but I'm not down with the Marshmallow lore. So
I think I've seen him once without a mask.
Okay.
He does a master class on how to DJ, and he
really
took his mask off for it. I believe.
Nice. But Travis Scott, I'm not familiar with Travis Scott. I'm not hip. His Fortnite concert drew 12.3 million concurrent viewers.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I got to watch clips of it today. It was really interesting.
This we were preparing for this, weren't we? I mean, it is awesome that it is this like persistent event space. I mean, I guess like so that's not just people like there, but they also broadcast it too, right? Like in video form, like streaming. I believe, if I remember how the marshmallow thing went before. Let's see. I'm seeing the trailers for it. I'm seeing a video for it. Yeah. This is the way to go, especially if we can't. If all the concerts are canceled for the summer, this may be the way that we're doing it. I can mosh pit without worry again.
Yes, I got to watch Post Malone do Nirvana the other night.
Really?
That was good.
It was YouTube Live. He set up. They like Travis Barker was the drummer. There was two guitarists, a guitarist, a drummer, or a bassist. And then him, and he was in his bar in his house, and he was in a dress, like homage to Kurt Cobain, and he played for like a little over an hour. They just played all Nirvana music. It was amazing.
There he is. I need to watch this.
It was so good. I've been like 90s nostalgia this entire time. I got to watch Mallrats with Kevin Smith online.
Oh yeah, he did a watch along, right?
Yeah, so the Focus Feature Film Company is doing this like once a week. They it's like Friday nights they do a film, and sometimes like one of the actors or the filmmaker joins the chat room of it, and it's broadcast over Facebook, and it's not censored. So Mallrats uncensored with Kevin Smith like telling the story of like how they got Stan Lee to be in it, and like all of this stuff, because you have to think like that was way before, any like that was the second film. So it was really, really, really neat. But yeah, the Post Malone and Nirvana thing was awesome.
And it's kind of one discussion was about how Parks and Rec is apparently having a reunion show, and they're like, well, Chris Pratt's not doing anything right now, so we can get him. So it's like and of course they turn into a charity as well. So, Katie, I forget, are you on a first watch or a rewatch of Parks and Rec?
Oh gosh, third, fourth.
Okay,
maybe.
I couldn't remember if it was a first or not. So
I'm in deep now.
You're what?
I'm in deep now.
You're in deep. I remember somebody was like, I need to catch up with three more years of Parks and Rec in 2 days or something. So, no, that's awesome. That's cool. And again, just a lot of kind of fun, inventive ways to do it. How was Post Malone doing the multiple people? Were they in different locations, same room? Like, how were they?
He never really explained it, but they looked like Travis Barker looked like his house, because you can follow his daughter on TikTok, and she actually like gives tours of their house, so it looked like his house. So he was drumming in his house, the bassist was in another room. Like you could tell they were in separate rooms, but they played together like perfectly.
If they're in separate rooms in the same place, they should be okay. Because I'm sure they have access to better stuff than we do, because we actually did a test yesterday to see if somebody could play from two different places using the same stuff we use for this show, and it just wasn't going to work. Just the latency is too much, and of course I'm sure there's stuff you can get that's higher end that'll do that, but still it's got to be. I mean, I got to say, most like Rolling Stones, like they had to just recorded separately, pieced it together, those kinds of things. Here's the thing, a game you can play now when you start watching back, since everybody's doing Skype. And it's crazy to listen to Skype interviews on the Daily Show that have all the Skype issues that we've mostly worked out on this show. Like they were talking with the mayor of Atlanta, and she was like cutting out a good bit. But play a game of, is this live to tape or is this a post-edited deal, right? As you're looking at these Skype interviews, have you guys kind of noticed those one way or another, and how they're kind of working around those?
I would almost wonder if they're pre-recording some of those YouTube lives just because of, FCC and everything else. Like, you just have to kind of wonder. Some of those, it has to be pre-recorded.
Yeah, just for technical. I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong, right? I mean, it's like this. When you have people coming in from multiple points into one place and then going out, like there's a lot of points of failure there. So, I mean, it's one thing when you have TV production satellite truck kind of thing going on, but when you're like, hey, everybody's on Skype, man, good luck. Sometimes you're just like, sometimes it's just not going to work. How's the satellite didn't work sometimes too, right? But
True. And I mean, at least we're not stuck with like TalkShoe to do this.
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You know, let's throw it way back old school internet and be like, remember recording in TalkShoe for so long?
I wonder how they're doing. I wonder how they're doing.
Bought and sold 6 times now already, weren't they?
I've had conversations with at least 2 of their CEOs about 13 years apart from each other, so give you an idea how that goes. Anyways, oh man, there's a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, it's really just kind of keeping sane. Whether it be Animal Crossing, I live in Assassin's Creed these days. So is Missy, basically.
I've been into Grindstone. That's my big one.
Oh, it's such a good game. Yes, worth it. That and that Butter Royale, which is like if you took Fortnite's like bunch of people land on a map and the last one survives, but it's a isometric top down and your weapons are condiments.
Yes.
Worth playing. Worth playing. You see, it's on Apple Arcade, so I know you're gonna hop on it.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a shot.
I need Apple Arcade friends that actually play because I want to start like doing Butter Royales and Pac-Man Party and things like that. Like, you know, it's like I got in a Pac-Man Party. I'm like, what do you mean there's no online matchmaking? What are we supposed to do with this thing? I'm like just playing Pac-Man by myself. Where's the party? It makes me feel like this is the saddest Pac-Man party. But
the Lego one too, where you can battle.
Oh yeah, Lego Brawls has been really good since day one.
Yeah.
That's been a keeper on there, and that's still one that I go back to, right? So those are great, and I love between Apple Arcade and Game Pass. Like I feel like I'm good on games for a bit. So, you were talking about books. I was actually looking at a shelf of books. We've actually had like multiple books that people were getting rid of. So we have a nice stack of every wrestling book that I've ever wanted to read, basically. Has been contributed to the studio, including some guests, guests on the show. I'm like, I should probably read that guy's book. I might get into my physical books, Amanda. I was just considering
Whoa.
that. I might. I don't know. I haven't read comics for a good month.
That is another thing too. Is I pulled out my comic books and started rereading my old comic books.
Yeah. It's a good time to drop on that. Drop on your Hooplas. Hoopla is doing some fun things. We just meandering, and I'm sure Missy is driving Missy nuts trying to take notes right now. But oh, never mind. I think she's playing Grindstone or Poofed or something. From what she held up. What's that? Piffle. Hoopla, I began notification from Hoopla that they've been putting out, hey, go watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on our app, and it's not going to count against your borrows, because on Hoopla, when you get a book, comic book, movie on there, it's a borrow for the month, and you get 8 of them for the month. That's
wow.
So they're like giving away, like, come see Harry Potter, free borrows, and I'm sure it's because of what's going on right now, but no, some good stuff there. Oh boy, Katie, do you do anything other than Animal Crossing?
Some board games and a few books.
Nice.
But that's about it. Coloring books too.
Nice.
Ooh, coloring books.
Coloring books.
I found a bunch. I was like, I knew I had more here. I was so excited.
Like, are they regular coloring books or are they like adult, intricate coloring books?
Well, okay. So I have the adult intricate ones. I don't enjoy those as much because they're too tiny and I get bored coloring anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I have some kid ones, like I have Lisa Frank, some Disney Aristocats, and then I also have unicorns or jerks and farting animals.
That's awesome.
So there's a variety.
Farting animals.
Oh, a good mix. A good, healthy mix. I like it. Well, Amanda, thank you for joining us on this oddball awesome cast tonight. Sir, Amanda.
The Amanda. Thank you.
That's how I'm doing. I'm going to drink some more coffee so I can talk about wrestling in under an hour. Everything will be just fine. Jeez, one SD card ruins my night, I swear. What's going on? BoldPGH.com, of course.
We're under remodel too.
Oh,
So it's gonna be scary.
Mind the dust.
Yeah, it looks odd right now. There's odd text and everything right now because we're under. I'm rebuilding it in the background, but to rebuild it on the background, I have to change the fonts on the current, so it looks really weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, boldpgh.com, Bold Pittsburgh on Instagram. Our YouTube channel is now up with Yinzer Bartender.
Nice.
So you can check that out too, and yeah.
Awesome. Katie Dudas, the Dudders, of course. Kate Murray PGH on the Instagram for updates over there, including what she's wearing to chemo day.
Yeah, me whining. A gift of the little girl whining on the floor because I feel like that's me in the morning. I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most of my stuff's over there. I don't know, and I like it. It's fun. Instagram is where I live most of the time.
Yes.
As far as but it's posting on social media.
Yes. I just post pictures of my dog in the studio now.
Yay!
That's basically it. Basically it. It was just like this is my interaction. So we've had 2 visitors to the studio in this whole time, and it's just like and it's just like one's Aaron because he's picks up stuff downstairs in his mail every once in a while, and sometimes we catch him. So, hey, stand over there. Let's have a conversation, please. Human interaction. Is that kind of the reaction when you see someone like human?
I know that.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. We, of course, be back here 7 p.m. Eastern Time if you had joined to jump in with us. Thank you, everybody. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. Oh, damn it. All right. Thank you, stream. Stopped the recording on the new software thingy there. Thank you, stream. We'll be back in under an hour. Aaron Kleiber will be on for the Wrestling Mayhem show. And we'll see you then. Thank you.